certainly talk about the rings, and there are so many weird things going on in the rings that we do not understand. They're not just these giant disks orbiting the planet. They're actually countless particles of almost pure water ice. And not only that, but the rings, even though they're well over 100,000 miles across, they're only a few yards thick. Literally yards. They're thinner than a sheet of paper to scale. If you took a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, expanded it out to the size of Saturn's rings while keeping the scale correct, they would be way thicker. A single sheet of paper would be way thicker than Saturn's rings. They're crazy. There's so many cool things about them. But even that's not what I wanted to pick, because everybody can pick that. That's easy. What I wanted to mention here is a storm that popped up on Saturn a few years ago. Saturn has seasons just like the Earth does. It's tilted, it's tipped, the axis of rotation is tipped, and over the past few years, the north axis of Saturn is starting to become tipped toward the sun. And that means that it's warming up in the northern hemisphere. And every time that happens, storms start popping up. Well, this time in 2010, late 2010, a white spot popped up on Saturn. And it was discovered, it was seen by Anthony Wesley, an amateur astronomer in Australia, and a couple other amateur astronomers confirmed it. And it just so happens that we had the Cassini spacecraft orbiting Saturn, and it had been orbiting for several years. And they, after a little while, they were able to point it, a couple of months, they pointed it at Saturn, and instead of just sort of that blurry white thing, which is still, this is an amazing shot, taken from a small telescope on the Earth, but when you have a spacecraft the size of a school bus orbiting the planet itself 1 billion kilometers away, what you wind up seeing is this. And this is the storm after a couple of months, and it started to shear away because it's sort of sitting there, it's welling up from underneath the cloud tops. The clouds are streaming past it, sort of whipping the clouds downstream. So you start to see that this sort of curdled milk feature as this thing is sort of blowing around. And what happened was, even after only a couple of months, I don't know if you can see this, but here's the head of the storm here. You can sort of see the whirls and eddies as it's starting to get whipped around the planet. And then it whipped all the way around the planet, and you can see the tail end of it actually crossing itself. The storm is so long, it wrapped all the way around Saturn. Saturn's a big planet, and even though this is fairly far north, this storm itself was tens of thousands, over 100,000 miles long. And I want to say it would have stretched 3/4 of the way from the Earth to the Moon, if you could unravel it and do that. That's how big this storm was. Incredible shot.